An excursion to the Spratlys doesn't happen every day. Not for the military and certainly not for the press. 2 hours from the capital heading south. The general staff boards the plane. It's another 75 minutes to Pagasa, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Then a short lesson in geopolitics.
Pag-asa is a municipality of Palawan, and Palawan is a province of the Republic of the Philippines. Therefore, Pag-asa is a territory of the Republic of the Philippines.
It's printed like that on T-shirts so nobody forgets. Because where there's military, there's also propaganda. Pag-asa means hope. This hope is the size of 50 football fields and lies in the West Philippine Sea, what China would call the South China Sea. Where in full view, reefs, atolls, and islets are being leveled to be incorporated into Chinese territory, more than 1,000 kilometers from China's mainland. It's all about natural resources, fishing areas, and geostrategies. And that's making the Philippine Army at its outposts uneasy. Admiral Alexander Lopez of the Philippine Army insists that what's happening in Subi is the same that's happening to other areas. They're trying to build things, not for legal reasons, but for military purposes, and that's very alarming. Where once there was nothing, entire ports, buildings the size of stadiums, and airstrips in the service of airspace sovereignty are all being built. It's a modern land grab, under the motto, "Don't ask, take." The Philippines would like the UN's Permanent Court on Arbitration to settle the dispute with China, and the U.S., a close ally of the Philippines, says it's considering boosting its military presence in the region. Beijing has shown the cold shoulder to U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
I want to make it clear. China is solid as a rock when it comes to its sovereignty and its territorial unity. It's the will of our people, and it's our right.
China hasn't even sent its navy to the region, just its Coast Guard. The message? There's nothing to fight over. The rusty old Sierra Madre warship poses no danger. Grounded on a reef, a handful of Philippine soldiers are holding the fort as a last bastion, poorly guarded and poorly supplied.
This here belongs to us, and we have the order to guard it. We are ready, and whatever happens to our lives, we'll accept it.
China is whipping up lots of sand in this territorial dispute and threatening to simply wash away the Philippines. Even Pagasa is claimed by China. The Philippines recognized the strategic importance of the former no man's land and occupied the island in the 1970s. Pagasa has a police station, a school, and a clinic. The 200 island residents do well by Philippine standards, and they've never worried about the Chinese rolling over them.
No, since we've been here, the Chinese haven't shown their faces at all. If anything, they fish in the breakers, but they've not been on the island.
We're normal citizens. We have no control over our future. Government heads and officials worry about that.
It could be strategically advantageous to focus on the beauty of the Spratlys. Tourism could bring in money and may dissuade China from possible encroachment. It's worked for the settlers so far. The local mayor has his own ideas.
By a shuttle to ferry the passengers or tourists to that place, then we are buying a steel boat. So by booking, they can be assisted to go to Pag-asa or any islands of Kalayaan. Yep. Then dito maglalagay kami ng pasalubong center and lodging house.
China's method for cultivating the island looks much different, and it's not losing a second. Pag-asa has just 4 hours of electricity a day. The residents say that they can see China's building sites where the lights burn all night, 7 days a week. At the end of the excursion, the company eats under a tent before flying out of the West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea, depending on your viewpoint. A final glance from the airplane window at the islands below, where everything looks as peaceful as ever.